From introducing a new universe that might just rival the OG one, to diving deeper into Winston Scott's murky past, here's everything you need to know about the John Wick TV series. Starting with, what hints do we get from the new trailer? According to the trailer, fans can expect an action-packed prequel to the John Wick universe that might just rival its OG story. The poster for the series promises deceit, danger, and conflict. We're talking about a movie filled with hitmen after all, and we'll see it through the eyes and actions of a young Winston Scott, who, as the fans know him, becomes the owner of this fine hotel. But at this time is being dragged back into the hellscape of 1970s New York City to confront a past he thought he'd left behind. What demons lie in his past will be revealed across the three-part series as we explore the origin behind the iconic hotel and figure out exactly how it's made itself the centerpiece for the John Wick franchise we know and love today.
I'm wondering if in both of your heads you have that, if you have any idea of what their lives were like before the Continental.
Yes. We each have backstories about how, first of all, the thing we definitely agree on is how far back we go, at least 30 years.
Of course, to get to that point, we'll see Winston in a terrifying attempt to take control of the hotel, where he eventually establishes his future throne. But not before he goes through an awful course of the hotel's shadowy underworld. Again, we wouldn't expect anything else, but as this trailer continued, maybe it'll be best to expect the unexpected, as the secrets of this place have been kept under wraps for good reason. Let's see what happened when someone tried to uncover them before our beloved Mr. Wick. Though this begs the question, who will be our incredible cast for this journey? Well, let's just say we've gotten lucky with the actors and actresses in this series. We have Mel Gibson starring as Cormac. How awesome is that? And if that isn't enough, taking the torch from Ian McShane for a little bit, Colin Woodell will be playing our younger version of Winston Scott. He'll also be joined by Michelle Prada, starring as KD, and Ben Robson playing Frankie. But that's not all. We'll have Hubert Point-du-Jour as Miles, young Kate as Yen, and the wonderful Jessica Alain who will play Lou. Of course, then we also saw Sharon in the trailer, being played by Ayomid Adugan. And lastly, Mayhew by Jeremy Bobb, and Peter Green as Uncle Charlie. Now don't be tricked. The cast was shown in a montage in the teaser trailer, with some entering through the front door and others relaxing at the bar. But when you have an ensemble like this one, there's no way we don't get some fantastic action sequences, especially when news already broke about Marina Mazepa, Mark Musashi, Ray McKinnon, and Katie McGrath joining the cast. Still, I know the question on everyone's minds. Could there be any sort of cameo from the man himself, Keanu Reeves? Most likely no, unless we get a quick glimpse of some 10-year-old trying to learn how to kill someone with a toothbrush in the lobby, cause this is a sequel meant to set up his world before he'd been in the chaos. But with the brilliant minds behind this idea, I'm sure the story will be handled just fine. Seriously, the production names behind this project are insane. Starting with when the Continental was first introduced in 2017, we had Chad Stahelski and Derek Kolstad on board.
Speaking of the Continental, whatever happened with that TV series? What's going on?
Well, they're about to make some pretty large announcements in the next couple of weeks in regards to what's going to happen there. Can't say much, but it's happening. And in regards to everything John Wick, you just hope for the best, you know?
And from there, Greg Coolidge, Kirk Ward, and Sean Simmons became the executive producers. But maybe the best news came when Albert Hughes was announced as part of the project, because he'd also been the director of Part 1 and Part 3. So if you've been a fan of those parts, well, this will be right up your alley. And that wasn't all. Charlotte Brandstrom, who'd also been in charge of Part 2, had joined as showrunner. So this wonderful universe is still in good hands with the upcoming series. But if that isn't enough proof for you, just hear the list of additional executive producers. We've got Basil Iwanek and Erica Lee, Stahelski, Kolstad, David Leitch, Paul Wernick, Rhett Reese, and Marshall Persinger, and all of them are insane fans of the OG story and would know just what the fans want from a sequel project. So if they don't make you want to get hyped for the show, I don't know what will, especially when Lionsgate's TV chairman himself gives the series a very easy vote of confidence. That's right, as Kevin Beggs put it, the show's ambition is remarkable. What more proof could you want that this project is going to be awesome, Still, he went on to confess that the Continental does have a lot of pressure to live up to. And that's fair, given the hype, expectations, recasting of familiar faces, and the level of action TV like Game of Thrones and Gangs of London. But if not those, then the John Wick franchise has its bar that the movies constantly try to raise.
It's currently with Stars, which is Lionsgate and Stars right now. But from what they've sent idea-wise to myself and Keanu, it sounds really, really fun. They've got a really great take on it, and they're currently in developing.
If we're going by early statements made by Stahelski about his expectations for the show, they're aiming for the stars with this one. According to him, the production's goals have always been to try and show that the TV world can have feature action, and it can be done to a level that exceeds expectations. It also seems like a personal goal for Stahelski, who's admitted that would be a nice, small perk up for an already impressive resume. Again, the goal seems legit enough, but whether or not the series will live up to it, well, fingers crossed. So now, the question is, how long do we have to wait to dive into this new part of the incredible universe? Thankfully, not too long, because the release date window is scheduled for late 2023. I know, finally there's a show that's legit coming out soon, but specifically, we're meant to check into the Continental in September of this year. And honestly, there couldn't be a more perfect time to venture back into the lore of the John Wick world, especially as the series will be riding the high of the 4th chapter of his franchise, which brings up the age-old question, is John Wick truly dead? Considering the universe is expanding, we need to know whether this man is actually dead. Yes, we see him getting shot in the final moments of the movie when he's finally free, though after all the inhuman number of stabbings, gunshots, and falling off of buildings Wick has faced, there's no way he's just gone, right? Especially since back in 2020, Lionsgate CEO confirmed that John Wick Chapter 5 was in the works. So unless we've been lied to, it's safe to say that the Continental might give us some hints as to the history we could explore in the next John Wick. And if not this prequel, then the creators do still plan on continuing to explore this world, because the Continental is just the first step into the deeper parts of the story. After the Continental opens its doors, more movies, TV shows, and even video games are promised to arrive. One of the most anticipated spin-offs is Ballerina, which stars Ana de Armas as Rooney, the assassin John first meets in Parabellum while hiding with the Ruska Roma. The movie is anticipated to delve into the killer's past and share a glimpse into the family which helped shape John into the killer we know. It takes place in the time between Parabellum and Chapter 4, but it won't hit the big screen until June 7th, 2024. So until then, we have to step into the mysteries of the Continental and see just how Winston Scott saved his paradise for our assassins. And that's everything you need to know about John Wick's upcoming prequel, The Continental.